Okay, I think this is going to be a bit of a scuffed episode, but it's okay. We're okay with that. We'll just rock on with it. We're back in England, which means we've got a little bit to go through. So, hi, let's get into it. Hello, welcome or welcome back to my cozy little corner. It's still taking a while to sink in, I think. My name is Holly-Beth and this is my safe little space where I am talking about / documenting my journey of falling back in love with crafts, majorly in the knitting world. And this is from the first few projects up until now and into the future. As always, it is an honour to have you here, whether you are a new or returning viewer of this just wonderful little community that we are continuing to build. Thank you so much for clicking on this video or supporting the video and the channel. It really does mean so much to me, so thank you so much. Okay, so today, as usual, we are going to be talking about finished objects, so FOs, whips, so work in progresses, and any acquisitions that may be new to me that are linked to our crafts journey. I hope that you are doing okay and well, and that you have grabbed yourself a beverage or something that's cozy of your choosing, really. I don't have one today, but I feel like I should have had a coffee because I'm still very tired. So let's just get straight into it. Just for a little catch up slightly, I have been back in England for about a week. This time, because of other things as well, it's taking a little bit longer to adjust to being back in a different country again. I am very happy to see my family and be back in England. I am from England, but I do miss being in Norway and the people there. It's only been a week, so you might be wondering, why is there another one 2 within a week? And I do have quite a lot, in my opinion, to share, considering it's been a week. And my thought is, if I leave this the 2 weeks that I usually would, there might be a bit too much for me to talk about in one go. So what I've decided is, during December, because I have a lot of plans and there's a video on that coming soon, just a chatty what I plan on wanting to make for December and January kind of thing. I have decided that I would like to do a podcast a week on Fridays, and this will be throughout December. Once we get to January, I think we'll go back to 2 weeks, but it's just because I know that I've got a lot to talk about and I want to spend the time to talk about them. And it's December, it's almost Christmas, you know, it's okay. So there are 2 items, 2 finished there's 3 finished objects and a current whip at the moment as I am recording this, but 2 of the finished items I will have to insert b-roll. One because one of them is still in Norway, and the other because I basically made my dad something which he has at work, basically. I think we'll start off with all of the stuff that we have got to talk about. I forgot to mention, my little tree that I used to have on my streams is back. So enjoy the tree, and I hope you are somewhat feeling festive. If you don't celebrate it or you prefer not to, that's totally fine, but if you do really enjoy the whole Christmas and being festive, then I hope we can be festive together. I am I'm sorry, you're seeing it again, and you know, I'm not even sorry about it. I want to wear it. I am wearing my novice slipover by Petite Knit, and I am still utterly in love with this. Yeah, I went to go see my nan and granddad, my grandparents, I think it was like a week after I'd got back, because I want to make sure that I'm not ill, etc, etc. And my nan recognized it straight away and she was like, "Oh, you finished it?" I was like, "Yeah." So, and they were very happy and very impressed with it. It makes me very happy. Let's get on to my finished objects. So my first finished object I can't show you because it is the piece that is still in Norway, and that is what I have titled my happy little crop, but it is the My Little Secret crop by Jessie May Designs. I am hoping that my other half can grab me some b-roll because I completely forgot, so enjoy his videoing skills. Okay, so I'm gonna run through this super quick because I think I talked about this. This is my second one that I've made and finished, the yellow and white one. And I was almost finished with it when I was in my last podcast. I used the Merino by Milk. I don't know how long I'm gonna keep scuffing these names up. I don't know. But it was it's a superwash merino, 100% superwash merino wool, and I used the yellow colour, which is the colourway 211, and I used the white as the second half, which is colourway 204. I think in the last podcast I was at the strap, so I'd almost finished the first strap, and the straps didn't really give me too much bother. They were fairly simple. I feel like my grafting them together with the Kitchener stitch was much cleaner than the other one. The only issue I did have was I dropped the stitch and it was right at the top where I was doing the second strap, so it looks a little bit scuffy there because I don't think I picked it up right, nor did I fix the stitch right, so it looks a little bit not perfect. That's okay. I haven't yet cast on the grey one yet, but I do have plans to do so. And I did bring the grey yarn back with me as well. And I am very, very lucky and very grateful that I am able to go over and spend time with my partner and his family and have that time with them. I absolutely love it there, and yeah, they are very, very wonderful people. So that's all I can really say about the crop top, because I can't actually show you and go through everything, but it's the same as my blue and white one. It's worked in the round in rib pattern, and then you do the decreases for the front and then do the straps in a double I cord. They did take a while, the straps, but I just did it when I was doing something else, when I was watching something, or because it's just a 6 row. It's okay. Okay, so next finished object is my hat that I started. I don't think I'd done too much. I was talking about it in the last podcast, but I did finish it. And I actually finished it the day before I was leaving. So this is done. It is a very long... People are so noisy with their bins. It is quite a long one. I did it super long because I wanted it to have a chunkier brim, like fold over. I didn't end up using all of the second skein, and I did wear this on the Saturday, so I completed it on the day before I was going. Yeah, I finished it on the train down, and I wore it the same day. So yes, I did end up getting this finished. I am quite surprised with how quick I got it done. Not that I have necessarily been slow with my other hats, but I just felt like this one, in under a week, or maybe a week I guess, was pretty good for the length of it and its rib. I can definitely feel myself getting faster. It's just very strange to see, and I'll kind of explain again with the next finished object. But yes, I did finish it. It's using Trysil yarns, the merino from Trysil. I wish the way to pronounce these brands would stay in my head, because so many words I have learned and they stick, and just brands just don't, and it's very weird because I talk about knitting so much. Nonetheless, okay, I had to find out what it was because I apparently hadn't wrote down the colour. Good old brain is working very well. It is the colourway 424. That's all I can really give you. It's just another hat. Expect a lot of these because I really enjoy making them. I just think that they don't take up too much yarn, and they're very simple to do, and apparently I'm getting quite quick at them. So this is in a DK. Yeah, I finished my own first hat made by me. Well, I have other hats, but this type, like a beanie. So that's my second finished object, which I did manage to finish before I left Norway, which I'm quite impressed with, I'm quite proud of. Okay, third finished objects. Apologies if you can hear any cars outside. Third, it wouldn't be a me video without slipping up on my words. Oh boy. Third finished object is, well, it's B-roll again, because it is another hat, and I started this hat, I think it might have been maybe Friday, and I'm now recording this on a Wednesday. I started another hat using the same as in the DK for my dad, because I've made him another hat which I'll feature in another video coming up about all about what gifts I've done this year, and he wanted another one. We kind of discussed whether he'd want a different one for work, because he does a lot in regards to like clearing, I think, public and private gardens, and uses strimmers, everything, so they will get quite dirty. So we decided that I would just make him a different one for work. I have some acrylic in my ever so growing stash that I am slowly getting through. I am getting through it. I am. The other hat that I've made him, if I can put a picture in of it, I will. It's in a navy blue and it's in a wool, and I don't have any dark acrylic or anything here, because he wants something that can just be thrown in the wash and, you know, things like that. And this is just one of the many that I have kind of thrifted and bought from a secondhand store. And this was double the size, but I just used one of my DK acrylics and made another hat, and I will put the B-roll on the screen. It's not very long at all. Well, I might even put it here because I think I did it maybe phone upwards. It's just a basic beanie hat, just like the rest of them. It's just using up some of my acrylic. He has asked for a kind of buff as well, and I plan on casting that on very soon. So I might end up using this as well, but mix something in so it's not just grey and grey. But yeah, it's just a light grey. It's just one of my acrylics in my stash that now has purpose. So happy days. This is what I mean when I say that the things that I think I'm definitely getting faster, because I finished this hat Sunday. So it took me 3 days, and I didn't really knit on Saturday, so it took me 3 days to complete. I just thought it was quite speedy. And I made the biggest size for him, and it was just a 2x2 ribbed hat. Buff to follow soon. Okay, that was all of my whips though, but that was in a week, so like a week's update, so I think that's actually quite good. Personally. So then we move on to whips. I have one work in progress at the moment, and it is for one of the people that are expecting a baby soon, and if I am allowed to announce it yet, I think I am, because they have, but I'm gonna ask them before I put this in the video. My little brother, wait, that sounds a little bit strange. My brothers and his girlfriend are having a baby. They are one of the people that I talked about a few months ago, and so I have basically started making a little blanket for them, and this is using the yarn that I planned to use for it, that I mentioned in my haul video. I will put that in whatever corner that is, so you can, I'll link it in the little information tab, and you can watch that if you would like to, where I talked about getting this. It is just it's a polyester, 70% polyester and 30% acrylic, which honestly I am so impressed with how soft it is. It's from the same brand as the crop top. I cast this on once I finished the hat, and I have been kind of working on it ever since. I'm just gonna do until I've used up the yarn. There was only 3 balls, 50-gram balls of this in that pot where we picked it up, so I'm just using up what I have. And I have started to go back on myself now, but I have started to make a baby blanket. I am gonna block this to make it just a tad bit bigger. It's not supposed to be huge, it's just more of a like comforter blanket for them. And we do know the gender, again I'll check before I can say it, but Yes, I am going to be having a little niece, which is very exciting. It's just going to be one that has this pattern around the edge, and then I'm starting to decrease now. Super easy, and it's the same pattern I've used for my washcloths in the past, which I actually have these here, which, you know, same sort of style as these, but just in a much bigger and blanket form. So it's gonna be more of a comforter blanket on the smaller sides. I'm very happy. I'm so impressed with this fabric. I used a new joining method of joining yarn. I think it's called the Russian join, where you use a needle. You open up the plies in the yarn and you put a needle through, like thread the yarn back through on itself, leave a loop, and then do the same on the new one. And I hadn't done that before, and I think it was quite successful. You can really barely see it. The only thing, which I'm so annoyed at myself for doing, but it is a bit far back, and the problem with having something that's in garter stitch where it's just constantly knitting on it, I feel like, yeah, it's good that it's mindless, but I wasn't paying attention, and all the way in the middle there is a stitch that is not quite right. But if you don't know it's there, and it looks fine on the other side obviously, but if you don't know it's there, you just won't know. So after a little bit of thought and, oh, do I rip it back? No, I'm not going to, because they could, you know, the person this is going to, in my opinion, it's a gift, and as much as I'd want a gift to be perfect, if you want a perfect baby blanket, you could buy one, but I think it's just a little, it's not a mistake anymore, it's a design choice, is I think the saying. It just makes it more personal. And the thing is that is a mistake I would have made when they were telling us the gender as well. So memories, you know. It's the memory of it. But yes, I am I'm basically halfway. I'm just over halfway. I've just started to do the decreases, and yeah, so I think next week I will have this finished, and I'm just so impressed with how it feels. It feels like such a lovely fabric. I don't know. The yarn does recommend a 3.5 to 4 needle size, but I am using 4.5 millimeter needles, just because I wanted it to knit up quicker, and I don't mind if it's a bit, you know, it's not the end of the world. So that was my personal choice, and yeah, so I hopefully will have one finished blanket by next week, which is very exciting. And I really do enjoy this pattern where you start on with little stitches and you just increase every round, and it gives this border. I really love this type of pattern. But yes, so yeah, okay, and finally we are going to move on to acquisitions. I'm trying to speed through this, so, you know, because I have so many videos I really want to record for like this month and next month. I'm getting very excited, which is probably why I'm speeding along a little bit. So I think I'm going to start with this, because this actually arrived today. A little bit annoying that it comes up with it's got a sticker on it, but it's okay. When I was doing the Russian join, I don't have any, I have sewing needles, but I don't have sewing needles with like a bigger, what are they called? The eye part of the needle. So when I was doing the Russian join on the blanket, I was using kind of a blunt tapestry needle, and that's not what you're supposed to use really. You're supposed to use a sharp needle, so it's easier and it's more effective. And I also don't have a yarn threader, one of these boys. I was like, well, it's only a couple pounds, I'm gonna get myself one, so I just got this set, and it actually arrived this morning, just before I started filming, so happy days. It means that I will be able to do things like Russian joins, but also just bigger eye needles are just so much easier when it comes to threading in general. as long as the thread, as long as it's not something that has to be super small. But I'm very excited to now have a yarn threader that's going to make my life so much easier. And I think I'm going to be using these quite a lot. I think I'm going to have to be careful with any rustling here. We have a lot of our things in storage, so me and my mum went to the storage to go through all the baby stuff and all of our old stuff and anything that we may have bought over the years. We also were looking for some other things from our old house to bring back, and we came across these. My mum forgot she'd bought, because as I said in the past, my family's kind of there's family history of working in the fibre arts industry, not necessarily in knitting, but kind of more seamstress and etc. And my mum has always wanted to get into sewing, and she used to have a bunch of sewing stuff. We don't know where that stuff is at the moment. We're still looking for it, but we did come across these that she had bought ages ago. There are two, so these were just in storage and they are still in fantastic condition. Two like fabric scissors. So there is one that is just straight scissors, the one that was in the box, and the other one that's in a plastic bag, which I'm not going to show it in because it'll be too rustly, but one of those ones as well. It makes me very excited because I'm so kind of desperate to get into sewing as well. So we made a decision ages ago that we would just share anything that we had sewing wise here, and yeah, so we have these, which is very exciting. But yeah, they were just in storage and my mum completely forgot that she'd bought them, and so now we have proper fabric scissors in the house. Okay, and that was all of my acquisitions as well. We got through it all okay. That is everything that I wanted to go through, and the reason why I'm doing this every week, again, I just feel like there would be too much to talk about in a 2-week podcast, and the whole point of splitting it up is to make it more manageable, to not only record and edit, but also to give a more realistic timeline as to how long things take for me, but also so it's not a super long video for you to watch all the time. Thank you so much for watching. If you have supported, thank you so much. It really does mean the world. The love recently has just been insane, so thank you so much. I'm very grateful for everything, and as we work into our last month of the year, it's going to be a fun one. I think it's going to be a busy one, but it's going to be a fun one. So I'm very grateful that you are along with me for the journey, for the ride. And yes, if you did like the video, please do give it a like. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. Again, as usual, if you have any questions on anything that I have shown, I will try my best, as the beginner I am, to answer them. Or let me know what you're working on. What are your plans for Christmas? This is going up on the 2nd of December. Hang on, let me check that fact. What's your plans for Christmas? Have you made anything for anyone for Christmas? Have you got all your gifts done? Do you still need to shop? So let me know what your plans are this December, and subscribe if you're not already and you would like to follow along. I will leave the whole podcast playlist up in whatever corner it is. I'll link it for you if you would like to watch any more and watch the whole journey so far and watch how we've got to this point and how I managed to finish my first jumper the other week, which I talked about in my last podcast. I am extremely grateful for every single one of you, and thank you so much for supporting and being here, and I hope that the amount of videos that will be coming in December is okay, because I've got a lot of ideas and a lot of things I want to do, so I hope that's okay, and I hope that, yeah, I just hope that's okay. But I will see you now. We're in December as well, and I'm back in England. Hopefully things will settle down a little bit, because there's always that changeover period where it gets a little bit busy or a little bit overwhelming or just a little bit. I need to adjust. If you more podcasts come in, a few hauls, a few plans videos. I also have my first year of knitting to review, so there is lots of stuff coming. I know there was an idea about doing a daily upload, which I'll see if I can get around to this year. If not, I'll definitely do it next year. That is everything from me, and I hope that you are well. I hope you're excited about Christmas if you celebrate it. Yeah, just thank you for being here, and thank you for following along with me on my journey. I'm ever so grateful, and I will see you all. Well, I'll see you all next week. Bye. Okay, let's get all these gift nets done. You're welcome.